What is up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about what might just be my new favorite compressor. Let's check it out. Hello there, friends. For anybody new, I am Josh Bonanno. I'm a mix engineer and I'm based here in Nashville, Tennessee. I'll put links below for all my other social medias. YouTube's new to me, but I'm very active on Instagram and all the other things. So come say hi, come let me know your thoughts on this video and more videos to come. Today we're going to be talking about a new compressor that I'm really excited about. It is the OLA5 from DIY Recording Equipment. So DIY Recording Equipment is a company that I've really enjoyed for a long time now. They sell all their products as either DIY kits that you could build yourself, solder the pieces. They give you all the components and incredible walkthrough instructions on how to do it all, or they sell them pre-assembled if you just want the gear to enjoy without the added work of building. I always love to build them myself. It's really fun for me. It's something I enjoy. I do enjoy knowing the back end of how things work and how I can modify them in the future and all the things. So this is a bit of a harder build, this compressor specifically. So it might not be the best one to start out if you are looking to start out on building your own. But all their other products are much easier. Their EQs and their color palette, two other 500 series units that are really great, and very much an easier build than the compressor is. So a couple thoughts on the compressor before we dive into Pro Tools and take a listen. I really am enjoying this compressor because it feels like a different approach to compression than I think a lot of compressors take. It's essentially a remake of the LA4A from Electronics, which the history behind that unit is that they basically started using chipsets rather than, old school transformers or tubes. And they also started using LED light sensors rather than old school, whatever they use in the other ones. I'm not that hip on it all. But the reason it wasn't well regarded back in that era is because that technology wasn't quite what it is now, at least in the 70s and 80s. So a modern take on the LA4, which is what the OLA5 is a very interesting compressor because it does what you would want an LA2A to do with the optical, very musical, very non-linear type of attack and release. But it does it in a much quicker, much modern, much grabbier, forceful sort of way, which to me is kind of where the LA2A lacks. While the LA2A is a great compressor, it's very slow. It's very not usable in situations where there's any transient information at all, just because it misses all of it. And this compressor feels somewhere in between that and say, like an 1176 or something that is quite fast and grabby. And it makes this compressor very usable to me, especially on things like vocals and acoustic guitars and things that you want that musicality of the non-linear release to exist, but needs some grabbiness just because of how quick the human voice or an acoustic guitar can be. So it's a really great compressor for that. All these sound examples are going to have the vintage output mod on it, which is essentially a transformer and an op amp on the output. It adds just some nice color, a little bit of extra weight, a little bit of extra density. I enjoy it. If you guys ever wanted to opt without it, it's a very easy thing to just do a solderless jump on the inside of the unit. You pull it out, and then it's just bypasses that. It's a much cleaner sound, less maybe weight and roundness out of it, and much more just transparency. So the sound examples you're going to hear do have that mod on it. I think it's for the better, but again, try it out for yourself. So I think that's really the intro I want to give here. I say let's jump into Pro Tools. Let's take a listen to it. All right, guys, here we are in Pro Tools. I have a song from Zach Seabow, who I mixed it for a couple weeks ago. It's out on Spotify now. I will link the full song in the description below. You guys can check it out. But I have most things hidden just because we're not going to look at them today. But we're going to mainly looking at, got some vocals, we have some acoustic guitar, we have some bass, just some things that I think this compressor really shines on. Wanted to highlight. some different things there. Most of this isn't doing anything, so we're really just hearing kind of the raw vocal, the raw acoustic, the raw bass, the way it came to me. So really no processing in or out, a little bit of EQ maybe, but that's really about it. So I'm going to start with the vocal because I think that's where this compressor really shines. You can see we have a pretty dynamic vocal here. So for one compressor to kind of handle all that energy is going to be a pretty tough job for it, but this compressor does a really nice job at it, I think. So worth mentioning some different features that this compressor does have. It has a limit versus compression option. The limiter can get pretty grabby, whereas the compressors may be a little smoother, a little slower overall. And then there's the high pass frequency. There's a mix control, so we could always dial it back. Threshold sets the amount of compression. Then we have the makeup gain. So fairly similar to like an LA4A style thing with some added features. Yeah, I mean, without talking too much more, let's just hear what it does. I'm going to start with the vocal dry, and then I will put the compressor on, and you'll see what it's doing.
Love and I are strangers, but I'm dying, I'm trying to put a face to her name. Got myself to blame. Never fully trusted someone, but I'm ready to change. I've fallen hard before, said some heavy words to some girls, but they were never true, 'cause they were never you.
So let's listen to that again. I'm going to start with it in this time and then take it out.
Love and I are strangers, but I'm dying, I'm trying to put a face to her name. Got myself to blame. Never fully trusted someone, but I'm ready to change. I've fallen hard before, said some heavy words to some girls, but they were never true, 'cause they were never you.
Yeah, so that's what that does. Man, I just think this sounds like it's such a great compressor. I mean, that's one compressor doing quite a bit of compression, quite a bit of gain reduction, I mean. And it can get grabby at spots, like you hear it for sure, but again, I'm maybe over trying for the demo here, but that to me sounds like a final vocal. The vocal coming in was a halfway decent capture as well, so that helps, but I just think this compressor takes things to that finish line really quick in a musical, natural way, all while adding some really nice character to it. I can definitely hear some extra weight, some extra just roundness and body as it comes forward. Compression is always maybe a little bit hard to hear just because, things are changing the perception of the way that they exist, where, it's definitely coming more forward. It's definitely feeling more loud. I've gain matched, as good as I really can overall, but it's definitely going to feel more loud at times. So yeah, I just think on a vocal, it's just money. It's something like I feel like I would maybe need 2 or 3 other compressors to get me where that gets me so quickly. So let's look at this acoustic guitar. I think this is another place where this is really fun, and we can kind of do something different than what we did on the vocal, where it was maybe a pretty quick, pretty grabby type of thing. On this one, I'm going to go for maybe a little bit slower. That's not what I want. Make it active here. So on this one, I'm going to go to the, I'm going to take it off the limit function, and then I'm going to try and play with that high pass frequency a little bit to maybe let the guitar just low end breathe and stay warmer, and just overall maybe slow things down so that it might not be quite as grabby and quite as pumpy on the acoustic, and just maybe a little more of a standard slow LA2 vibe, like leveling amp type of thing. So I will bypass, and I'll play this and get some settings where I kind of know I already want them, and then we'll engage it and see what it sounds like. So let's just do this for now. So again, just another really great application for what I feel like this microphone can do. For what this compressor can do. Slower, less pumpy, more overall smoothness that you can really hear kind of what that high pass frequency does. When it's in, it just kind of pushes a little too hard for this application at least. But pulling it out just lets that low end breathe, and then lets, you know, some of the harder hits on the top end that maybe are the harsher things that we want to control just get pushed back. And it just, again, it just compresses, but it just brings things forward in such a nice musical sort of way. And I feel like I've used the word musical a lot, which I don't generally enjoy doing, but it's just that optical thing where it's non-linear, so it's moving just with the music, and it's never going to do the same thing kind of twice. It really does feel just natural sounding, which I think works really well. So the last feature I want to explore with this is the wet dry feature, which anytime a compressor has that feature, it's a win. It's a win-win. So this bass, as you can see, is already, you know, fairly compressed, fairly consistent feeling and looking. But that's even more reason why I think it might be kind of fun to maybe dial this in a little bit hard again, you know, go back to the limit feature, really drive it, maybe, you know, maybe even just get some of that vibe from the transformer and the op amp, and then just dial the mix down. And, you know, we might not be looking for more consistency here as far as compression or dynamics, but maybe just some overall vibe, some overall interest, or just tone changing kind of sound. So that's that. I'm going to, again, hit play, let you guys hear the dry signal while I maybe dial in some settings, and then we'll go from there. So there it is, the OLA5. Thanks for checking this video out. Hope that maybe answers some questions. I know there's not maybe a lot of information on this compressor out there, but I think it's a really great piece. I think it serves a great purpose. It's kind of become a secret weapon of mine, especially on lead vocal, especially while tracking vocals. I think it's really great. So until next time, guys, thanks for checking it out. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the YouTube things that YouTube people ask you to do. Appreciate you. Take care.